We played them in the third game. Everybody played three quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
With the recent rumors that there's a group of super fans with lots of money that were going to buy DC Comics, two names have kind of been coming up. One was Steve Geppi, the owner of Diamond Comics Distribution. I think after yesterday's announcement that they had to close down one of their warehouses, distribution centers, because the finances aren't as good as they were before, I think that pretty much closed the door on that idea. The other big name that we've been hearing is maybe one of the most beloved, if not maybe the most beloved, like modern comic creator in the industry, Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, the man that persevered. I think he sent in, his portfolio like every day for 3 years before he got picked up. Obviously, made an enormous impact on Spider-Man. Was one of the key figures in creating Image Comics, one of the original Image 7. Spawn, it has been kind of the franchise for Image moving forward. Obviously, it's a different deal there, but certainly the most popular ongoing character for a very long time. And I think we can kind of put to bed that idea that Todd McFarlane's got time to go and buy DC Comics and start making Batman comics and Superman. He is launching his own shared comic book universe, the Spawnverse. It's coming out in 2021. He's called it 2021 is going to be the year of Spawn. Now, he's been building up to this for quite some time. We've got a lot of details. There's going to be four new titles coming out with this. 3 of them ongoing, one of them being a team book. And he has brought a gang of very talented, very well-known, established comic book creators with him. We do have a little bit of information. We don't have a lot of visuals yet. I will absolutely be showing you the first cover that we have of the comic that's going to be launching it. And what else we do have of the characters that are going to be ongoing with this. Obviously, this is still in development. This is early stuff coming out of Comic Pro. Hoping to talk to Perch on Sunday or Monday about Comic Pro and some of the information that he has to talk about. Now, before I get into the details of the Spawnverse and Todd McFarlane's big project to take the character to bigger and bigger heights, I do want to say, if you enjoy comic book news, reviews, opinion, great debate, this here is the comic book related YouTube channel for you. You should definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notifications. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this. Thumbs down if you don't. I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Are you excited about Todd McFarlane's Spawnverse? I imagine a lot of people are. So there's going to be 4 titles coming out with the Spawnverse. The initial one is going to be called Spawn Universe number 1. That's the one with the cover that we do have. This, I imagine of the 4, this is the one that's not ongoing. I think this is just the introduction to the Spawn universe. That will be launching in June. In August, we get King Spawn number 1, which will be the first time Spawn is the lead character in 2 ongoing series. For a lot of Spawn readers, they have never been able to buy a number 1 Spawn comic in their lifetime. New, because it started in 1992 and there hasn't been a new one since. There will be one in August, King Spawn number 1. One of the few characters, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, that have multiple ongoing series. In October, we're going to see the launch of Gunslinger Spawn. As I said, he's been moving towards this, for quite some time. Obviously, if you don't know this, Spawn has been one of the real success stories over the last 3 or 4 years, bucking every single trend in the comic book industry. We started seeing it kind of bottomed out at about 11,000 sales. It started creeping its way back up, and by the time it got to Spawn 300, the sales were kind of at about 25 to 30. Obviously, 300 spiked it, I think, over 200,000 copies, and it's been doing excellent ever since. But he introduced a lot of characters, if not directly in Spawn 300, 301, but right around that time. One of the big ones that people like is Gunslinger Spawn. He's going to be launching in October. And the final book, the team book that's coming out later in the year, is going to be called The Scorch. And this is going to be led by Spawn, Redeemer, Gunslinger, Medieval Spawn, and She-Spawn. So some stalwart characters as far as the Spawn universe, and a couple of the new ideas that Todd McFarlane has introduced recently. Obviously, the Gunslinger Spawn, the Medieval Spawn, the sales just on those covers alone were enormous. I believe they were well over 100,000. So This is very cool stuff. This is what Todd McFarlane had to say. The simple question is this: DC Comics started a shared universe in the late 30s. Marvel Comics began theirs in the early 60s. So can lightning strike a third time beginning in 2021? I personally do not have the answer to that question right now, but the only way to get an answer to that question is to make the attempt in the first place. This is a long-intended plan that will need the help of dozens and dozens of creators to help create hundreds and hundreds of characters, and then to reward those creators if any of their ideas pay off in a big way outside of the comic industry. So there you go. It sounds like if you're working on Todd McFarlane's Spawnverse, you will not get screwed over with the characters you get create. You will be well compensated in time if those characters develop and explode outside of comic books, i.e. in movies or maybe even TV shows. The quest isn't to have our ideas exclusively live in the comic book industry, but to have merit and value outside of that industry as well. My character Spawn has been an example of what can happen with creation. So what are the possibilities if hundreds of creations are brought together? Marvel and DC have shown us that a collective group of characters in a shared universe can resonate globally. I think it's time for David to attempt to join the same arena as the Goliaths of the world. Very exciting stuff. And I think if there's one creator who could do this and really get people behind it, and maybe we can get a success out of it, it is Todd McFarlane, beloved in the industry. Go into the comments and say something bad about Todd McFarlane. See what happens. You will get a very negative response because people love him in the comic book industry, a lot of longtime fans. Now, this isn't the first time Image has tried like a shared universe. It has never taken, I believe they tried it 3 times previously, and they always abandoned it within like 2 or 3 years. So it will be interesting to see if they have the staying power, the gumption to see this through the long haul to what it actually takes. Because if they only give it 9 months or 18 months to gestate and for people to kind of fully buy in, or even the creators to finally get everything working cohesively together, it's not a long enough time. They're going to have to commit to this, maybe take a little bit of losses in the beginning to finally get what you see over at DC and Marvel. And what is, one of the big trends, just in entertainment are these shared universes that, comics have been doing for so very long. Obviously, he mentioned DC since the 30s, Marvel since the 60s. So I think that will be the big test. Do they have the will to stick this out in the long haul and see if it'll take? Now, let's get into these creators because it's quite the lineup. Art Adams, Jason Sean Alexander, Carlo Barberi, Brett Booth, J. Scott Campbell, Greg Capullo, Donny Cates, Jim Chung, Mike Del Mundo, Javier Fernandez, David Finch, Jonathan Glapion, Kevin Keane, Alice Cott, Puppeteer Lee, Sean Lewis, Sean Gordon Murphy, Ben Oliver, Steven Segovia, Paulo Segura, Mark Silvestri, Marcio Takara, Frank Wiley. As I mentioned before, that is quite the list of creative talents to be working on this. You see Greg Capullo, it's like, okay, he's probably going to be doing cover art. J. Scott Campbell, almost guaranteed to be doing cover art. Brett Booth, on the other hand, maybe he's going to do part of that Spawn universe #1. He's been doing a lot of interiors. Obviously, his style would fit into the Spawn universe like a glove. He'd be perfect for it. Jason Sean Alexander, longtime collaborator, got his own thing going on right now. I believe he's a co-creator of Philadelphia. Don't know that he's ready to leave that gig. That seems to be doing pretty well. Maybe he comes on and maybe we get a plus size issue on #1. We get a lot of guest artistic talent to work with him. I don't think Sean Gordon Murphy just has the time to be doing one of these comic books. Mark Silvestri is obviously another big name, another one of the original Image 7. So there's a lot of great talent here. I don't imagine most of it's going to be working full time on any of the 4 series. And obviously, one of them isn't a full series. It's the introduction to the universe as we'll have the 3 ongoings. But it is very exciting. I can't wait to see who the artistic talents, who are the writers going to be, and where they take this. Am I a customer? You're damn straight I'm a customer. I love shared comic book universes. I really like smaller ones, kind of like what Valiant has done. I'm very excited what AWA is going to be doing. So I will be in this for Spawn. I like the promise of what this could be. I think Todd McFarlane is the right man to be leading the ship. We also know that I believe Image is launching another shared superhero universe. I wonder, Like, is this what they were talking about, or are they going to have another one of those? Like, is there going to be that and then the Spawnverse? We'll know in time. I thought that Radiant Black was the kickoff of that one, though. I might be wrong. So we might end up with 3 new shared universes. We got the one at AWA launching with, the first superhero one is Erratic. But there was one before that. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a pandemic kind of story. We've got this one here, and I thought Radiant Black was kicking another one off an Image. But this is exciting stuff. These are exciting times. I like to see some of the indies kind of go up there and step up to the plate with the big two. The big two are on the ropes. They are not having a good go of it. Obviously, they're still the biggest names in town as far as Western comic books and periodics, but the indies are doing very well. They're stepping up to the plate. And I think if there was a time where you could eat a big chunk of their market share and take it permanently, now would be the time to do it. It feels like Boom is making big moves, and now it kind of feels like Image Comics is making some big moves. I think it's very exciting. It's healthy for the industry. I like competition, and I like the idea of Image no longer being comfortable being like the third biggest comic book brand that no one refers to as being the major leagues. Like they're the highest level independent, and saying, screw that. Let's go for the crown. Let's go grab it off it. It's not like Marvel and DC are doing a great job of growing Western comic books right now. They're kind of dropping the ball. If you look at what Image does as far as their storytelling, the kind of characters that they have, and what they put out as far as their trades, probably fits more in line with what's growing right now in Western comics anyway, at least in the YA graphic novel market. Now, you would think that the manga stuff would kind of fall more. Well, manga's that's a really broad term. There's a lot of superhero style manga, and there's a lot of other types of manga. So maybe those readers are more diverse, but you're not a lot of superheroes in the YA graphic novel stuff. So I think, if there's one of the indie publishers right now that that has the creators and has the portfolio and that has the real stories that can go out there and grab that brass ring and steal it, take it from Marvel and DC. Image would definitely be one of them. Boom would be the other one. They have a lot of momentum right now. We shall see. Boom's going to have to start publishing a lot more comics to finally get there. At least Image is already up there. They're doing like 40, 45 comics a month. That's a lot. I think they need to be more selective with the comics they're putting out. They put out a lot of stuff that the day it arrives on the shelf, it's not going to succeed. They probably need to be more selective, probably need to be more inclusive as far as the people that they're willing to work with. They're working with a lot of creators that they know aren't going to sell just because they're part of like the family or whatever. It's time to look outside the family, take the brand seriously, and start growing it, because Western comic books need it right now. And Todd McFarlane and his Spawnverse is the first step, hopefully of many, in taking the crown from the big two.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.